This is Friday to Friday, your weekly rap wrap-up, going through the releases in rap and hip-hop from Friday, April 10th to Friday, April 17th. My name is Jacob, and I have with me today producer and artist manager hailing from Montreal, Canada, Matt Carrier.
Yo, what's up?
This week's releases are Buddy with Simmie Sims 3, Bossman Dlow with Chicken Talkin' Bastard, DeGetta with Not a Gangsta, Des Dior with Note to Self, Fat Mac with Trap Madness, Gashi and Jimmy Banks with The Killer Whales of Gotham 2, Grems with Trap Jazz, Hembeezy with Beezy World, JasonMartin and DJ Flippp with Quik Flip, Rico Ace with Blackjack, Skrilla with Z, Snoop Dogg with 10 Till Midnight, TF and DJ Muggs with Don't Call Me Lucky, Tink with Fuck, Marry, Kill, Wesley Joseph with Forever Someday, Exhibit Be Real and Demrick with This Thing of Ours, Joyner Lucas with ADHD 2 Reloaded, it's a deluxe of last year's album, and lastly, Sexy Red with Yo Favorite Trappa Favorite Rapper. It came out super late in the week, didn't have time to check that out, came out right before we recorded, but pretty interesting list this week. So let me start off with JasonMartin and DJ Flippp with Quik Flip. We have JasonMartin, he's a rapper previously known as Problem, he's a Compton rapper. This is continuing with the new West Coast sound. We got features from Lefty Gunplay, Dom Kennedy, Phoenix Flexin, so lots of LA rappers. And DJ Flippp is an LA-based producer and music video director.
I'm checking the features though. Yeah, that looks very West Coasty, definitely. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yep. And some standout tracks were Water Whip and Cha Cha Chicken. So next, I'll talk about TF and DJ Muggs with Don't Call Me Lucky. TF is a South Central rapper, so we got more West Coast love. And then DJ Muggs of Cypress Hill fame. This is very gritty boom bap beats and flows. It's like the grimiest shit in the best way possible. And I found it really cool that the album has an accompanying film of the same name. It's a 38-minute film that they call it the first sci-fi gangsta flick. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I definitely want to now after hearing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Strong list of features: Rock Marciano, Boldy James, Rome Streets, Mayhem Loren, OT The Real, and Ghostface Killah. And for me, the standout tracks were Get To It, Bad Rest, Hakuna Matata, and Yes Please. So I found TF and DJ Muggs' Don't Call Me Lucky to be a really solid boom bap project from this week.
I really like the Mayhem Lauren verse. The good one. In that style of rap, it's fun to just think of the funniest bars that you can kind of put together. Especially Ghostface too. That's another guy who just like you can just sit there and go through the bars and
Yeah, the Ghostface verse is great.
Oh yeah.
What's your next pick, Matt?
My next pick is the Bossman Dlow album, Chicken Talkin' Bastard. With the singles that he had released, I was kind of hyped for this one because I found that with the singles, he was kind of breaking out of that mold of having the very same flow on pretty much everything. There was some really good samples with the singles too. The album, I found, it is, again, it's mainly his kind of rapping, his kind of flow, his kind of cadence, but you can hear that he's trying. You can hear that he's trying to find different cadences. And so for me, really, when someone has kind of a singular flow, I just want to know that they're trying to kind of write differently. And
I think by trying, you mean like putting in extra effort to like go a little bit outside of their comfort zone, like that kind of thing.
Because I don't blame someone. It's like, The Baby or even Project Pat, where when you have a really good flow that works on pretty much anything, it's hard to want to do something different. But there's some guys like Project Pat, no one's ever gotten tired of his flow. But then you have examples like, for example, Bossman and The Baby, where people have spoken out about the redundancy of the flow. And so like with The Baby, when that happened, he just started, dropping dozens of songs with just faster beats, different drums and everything. And I found with Bossman, he almost, at first, he kind of took it as like I'm successful, so why would I do things differently kind of thing. But I don't know what shifted. There's a bit of a different effort I found in this one.
Yeah, and speaking of DaBaby, standout tracks for me were Goddess featuring DaBaby, and then also my other favorite was Plays of the Week. But there's tons of good features. We have YK Nice, G Herbo. Feels like we have a G Herbo feature most weeks of the show.
And OJ, which also we have a feature every week. And I never thought in 2026 I would say that that's a guy who's putting together really solid features. I didn't think OJ the Juice Man would be a name I'd be mentioning so many times in 2026. And they're good features. That's another guy who's just upgraded his pen a little bit and it's working.
holding it down.
I always check out for guys like that where like he has a very good flow. It's just I can see why people get tired of the redundancy. So I always keep an eye out for guys like that.
Well, I think too, it's like you can make a whole career out of something super specific and niche.
Oh yeah.
Your audience can take it upon themselves to diversify. You might just have like in your favorite playlist just a couple Bossman Dlow songs.
That's it.
You still might want to go to the show when he comes to town, so
for sure.
You still get fans from those people.
Yeah, and even like production, it really depends on like a lot of artists that have that singular flow that don't evolve. Usually what ends up killing them is that their budget goes lower and lower each time because they're not doing well. And so the beats on the albums become more and more and more generic. And then you can't break out of that mold. If you're trying to be different, your beats are getting worse. Your flow is not evolving. You kind of get stuck there. But this album had expensive production budget.
Cool, nice. Good to hear Bossman Dlow getting out of his comfort zone on Chicken Talkin' Bastard. All right, next I want to talk about Buddy with Simmie Sims III. Buddy is a Compton rapper. So much West Coast love this week. Compton rapper and singer, I should say. I'm not super familiar with Buddy, so I thought maybe this was like the third in a series, but actually his name is Simmie Sims III.
Oh, okay.
I was doing a little research on him. Found he was signed by Pharrell as a teenager in 2011, but then he just went independent in 2024. So standout tracks for me were Nunya featuring Guapdad 4000, Pray for a Blessing featuring J-Rock, and then House Jam featuring Fawcett. This is a fun project. I'm a fan now. I would definitely want to check out more of his discography.
And I'm surprised for an independent album, he got like to have a J-Rock and a Guapdad feature is pretty good.
Yeah.
Guapdad, I do feel like I haven't seen much of. He was on the Marlon Wayans movie there, him movie. I think he was on that soundtrack album.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, yeah, I still listen to Dragon Ball Durag by Guapdad, and so to me that's like the one that I go back to the most. But I mean, happy to see he's on here. J-Rock too. I've loved every recent J-Rock feature.
Yeah.
So and he's dropped a couple of singles too. I don't know if he's gearing up for something.
Oh, I hope so. I hope that after this Isaiah Rashad project coming up, next we're gonna get a J-Rock project. Which I also do want to mention on that topic. We got a single from Isaiah Rashad this week called Same Shit. It's the first single off the upcoming album It's Been Awful on TDE Records, coming out May 1st. So we have that to look forward to in a couple weeks here. What's your next pick, Matt?
Next pick will be the Snoop Dogg album 10 Till Midnight. Okay. I wasn't a huge fan of the last one, which was Missionary, I think.
I don't think that was the last one. I think that was a few ago. Yeah. Last notable one, maybe you could say.
That's it. This one, I was kind of surprised. I mean, it is Snoop, so I mean, like, you know, the rapping and the flow is a little bit kind of in the same lane, but good songs. Honestly, I like the song with Trinidad James. It was nice for the album to start off with Swiss Beats. This was actually a solid album. I don't think it would be like contender for album of the year, but I got a few saves off of it. I'm not mad it came out.
Yeah, it's cool to see what he's been doing with revitalizing Death Row. I feel like maybe there's been a slight boost up in quality of his projects since then, since like 2024-ish when he bought the label. But I hope to see more new artists released on that label too, not just like Dog Pound and Snoop albums.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see. Like, I don't know what his plan is. Like, if he's looking to start like a new school, a new league of just like young rappers and a new generation.
That would be amazing.
I'd like
to
see
so like well connected. You know, I don't think he's gonna A&R himself, but I think he knows enough people to like make the easy connections and find the right people.
Arguably, he's probably the most recognizable hip hop figure. I won't say number one. I'll say top three at least, most recognizable worldwide. And so that's the guy who's
number one,
right? Well, I'm willing to say number one. So if you're willing to, we'll go with that. And I think
so.
He wants to get any producer in the studio. He wants to get any engineer. He wants to get any songwriter. Yep. He could. That would be the guy to have as your label head for sure.
Cool. So my last one of the week is Joyner Lucas ADHD 2 Reloaded. It's a deluxe edition of the 2025 ADHD 2. It has 9 new songs, which is a lot of new songs for a deluxe, but he did my least favorite thing with deluxes, which is he put the new songs not all at the start, not all at the end. They're scattered all throughout the middle.
Stand that.
It's not even in one chunk in the middle.
I don't like feeling like I'm getting tricked. I don't like it.
I definitely felt like I was forced to re-listen to the whole album, which is like, obviously that's what he wants, but.
Or it's like, go to the original, compare the titles. Okay, which one is new? Like.
That's me. That's what I did. I was on my lunch break at work going between the two on Genius being like, okay. So since I put in the work, anyone else that bothers or is curious, the new songs are GTA 6, Enemies, Deep End, Monsters, Letter to My Younger Self, Incognito, Set It Off, Crashing Down, and Reconsider. Those are the new ones. To make it even more confusing, Matt, he put the songs from the original in a different order.
So one thing about Joyner is when I first heard of him and I saw his marketing album, but like drop it as a monthly single and like always kind of trying different marketing techniques. And it's very innovative. It's very, very unique. He's always trying to push his streams differently. And it's ironic that it's also called ADHD and everything. I don't have ADHD, or maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe I have a couple of things, but to me, I can't do it. It seems too complicated. Like there's things are being announced and there's rollouts and it's just like too many dates and stuff. I just want to like know when something is dropping and just check it. And like to check out a single of someone every month, it depends on the artist. I like Joyner, I do. But it's like I can't do a single every 2 weeks, every month. It's a lot of songs have the same vibes sometimes, or at least the songs that I like from Joyner. Like it tends to be the more aggressive kind of rap.
Same. Like
GTA 6, I didn't realize was from the Deluxe. So I didn't check out the Deluxe, but the GTA 6 song has been popping up and I really like it.
I don't know if that just made the Deluxe because it did well since coming out as a single, or if that was planned to be on the Deluxe. I don't know, but it works. I mean, the project doesn't really have that strong of a theme. It's kind of just like a bunch of good songs. So these are just some more good songs. It was cool. Even though it forced me to listen to the project again, it's all good. That was Joyner Lucas, ADHD 2 Reloaded. And those were all the picks for this week. We got Buddy with Simmie Sims 3, Bossman Dlow with Chicken Talkin' Bastard, JasonMartin and DJ Flippp with Quik Flip, Snoop Dogg with 10 Till Midnight, TF and DJ Muggs with Don't Call Me Lucky, Joyner Lucas with ADHD 2 Reloaded, and then the releases that we didn't cover this week, Ghetto with Not a Gangsta, Des Dior with Note to Self, Fat Mac with Trap Madness, Gashi and Jimmy Banks with The Killer Whales of Gotham 2, Grems with Trap Jazz, Hem Beezy with Beezy World, Rico Ace with Blackjack, Skrilla with Z, Tink with Fuck, Marry, Kill, Wesley Joseph with Forever Someday, Exhibit Be Real and Demrick with This Song of Ours, and last but not least, Sexy Red with Yo Favorite Trapper, Favorite Rapper. Let's talk about what else we've been doing in music this week. I had a slower week, just always working on beats and stuff in the background to come out on our website, frequencyoverflow.com. What about you, Matt?
I've just been working on beats, finishing beats. I've been doing some of those like 2-3 a.m. nights of just like having fun messing around with stuff.
You sent me a pretty good beat today. You sent me a pretty good Detroit style beat. I was liking it.
I have the thing of like, I'll sit on something sometimes for like 5-6 days. I'm like, and then I listen to it in the car, listen to it on different types of speakers. And
it's good to have other producer friends too to bounce stuff off of too. Because sometimes it's just like in your own head about it. It's just like,
if it was up to me, nothing would come out. That's it.
Right. Excellent. Well, releases coming up next week. All we have that we know about is Khaki Kid with Girl Bites Dog. But I have a feeling, I don't know, there's sort of some rumblings that possibly Iceman is going to come out soon. Could be this week. We don't know. That could be interesting. Yeah, as far as we know, not much coming out next week. But thank you, listeners. If you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, take a second to rate us 5 stars. Save the F2F Spotify playlist to follow along with what we're listening to throughout the week. It's a living playlist that we update with not all the latest releases, but all the ones that we might end up talking about on the show. That way you can listen to the weekly releases before the conversation. You can find that link in the description. To get a hold of us, you can email fridaytofridaypodcast@gmail.com. Our intro and outro music by Lunar G. Find him at prod.by lunar.g. Podcast edited by me, Jacob, from Frequency Overflow. You can find me at Frequency Overflow. Join us every week to stay in tune with hip-hop releases from Friday to Friday. Peace.
See ya.